The big cube, which has amazed children and adults alike, has become one of the most important tools for learning, or alternatively, for achieving personal recognition as a genius at solving problems. But here we pause. Where did it come from? How was it created? Or better yet, who is its creator? No introduction is needed. We all know what it is or have had one at some point in our lives and ended up taking it apart to reassemble it perfectly. Is that intelligence? Well, no. But most of us were children. The question is, how did this invention come about? It all begins in Hungary, in Budapest, with Professor Ernő Rubik. This man, born in 1944, the son of a poet and an aeronautical engineer, had a rather interesting upbringing. Attracted to design and mathematics, he trained as an architect and sculptor. Throughout his life, however, he was drawn to the world of puzzles and geometry. That led him to become a professor of architecture at the Academy of Applied Arts in Budapest, where he would lay the foundation for his most important invention, or rather, his great invention, the magic cube. But what is the magic cube? It is the former name of the Rubik's Cube. To explain further, the idea was born when Rubik was looking for a better way to explain three-dimensional structures, a rather complex theory that required many classes. But like almost everything in physics and mathematics, it had to have a physical application. He began to develop a first prototype, but there were several problems to be solved. How could the blocks move independently without falling apart? So he began to conduct various design tests until after several trials and the implementation of a design using pieces held together by their shape, Rubik managed to create a functional prototype. This was built with wooden blocks and rubber bands that allowed each row of cubes to rotate independently. At first, Rubik did not realize that he had created a puzzle. Only after solving it himself did he understand the device's potential as a brain teaser beyond a classroom lesson. Unbeknownst to him, Rubik had created an artifact that would be named after him and become one of the most popular puzzles in the world, consisting of 26 smaller cubes that rotated around a central axis, with the goal of making each of the 6 faces a single uniform color. After its creation and patenting, this object would go on to sell more than 400 million units and become a cultural and educational phenomenon around the globe. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. It hasn't even been released as a product or toy yet. After completing the final version in 1974, Professor Ernő Rubik took the cube to patent in 1975. The process was slow and quite tortuous as it was compared to many other similar products. The patents were not granted until early 1977. In the meantime, Rubik left his invention with a toy manufacturing cooperative in Budapest called Thought Co., where the first cubes began to be produced. Several competitors emerged during the patenting process. The invention was so revolutionary that it caught the attention of other inventors who began competing for patents. Terutoshi Ishige filed a patent for a similar cube in Japan in 1976. In addition, Larry Nichols, an American inventor, had patented a similar cube held together by magnets before Rubik. However, toy companies, including Ideal Toy Corporation, initially rejected Nichols' design. After 1977, when efforts were made to market the product internationally, many problems arose because the original patent was not extended internationally within the 1-year period, preventing the possibility of an international patent. Ideal Toy Corporation insisted on renaming the product in order to register and protect it somehow. It was decided to change the name from Magic Cube to Rubik's Cube in honor of its inventor. This paved the way for international distribution. This was done for two important reasons: to expand the product to other parts of the world, and to increase sales and internal production. The first cubes were produced in small quantities in Hungary. As global demand increased, production moved to larger and more efficient factories. Modern cubes began to be manufactured primarily in China, using durable plastics and mass production methods that allowed for high quality and low cost. Its popularity outside Hungary began when Hungarian entrepreneur Tibor Laci, who was already familiar with a cube, saw a waiter playing with it and realized its potential. Amazed by the design, Laci obtained permission from the state-owned company Consumex to sell the cube abroad. At the Nuremberg Toy Fair, Laci was not an official exhibitor, but he managed to attract attention by walking around the fair with the cube, which led to a meeting with Tom Kremer, a British toy expert. Kremer saw the cube's potential and arranged an order for 1 million cubes with Ideal Toy Corporation, also known as ThoughtCo. Otherwise, the company would have produced the cube in a simple and limited way. And after these actions, we saw the rise of the cube to a completely different level, especially in the United States and Western Europe. Its fame skyrocketed thanks to its inclusion in TV shows, competitions, and a series of books on how to solve it. By 1981, more than 100 million had been sold. The cube's popularity was also boosted by events, such as the first Rubik's Cube World Championship, held in Budapest in 1982. This event introduced speed cubing, the practice of solving the Rubik's Cube in the shortest time possible. Over the decades, various individuals have stood out in this discipline, including Felix Zemdegs from Australia, who has set numerous world records, and Yusheng Du from China, who broke the world record in 2018 by solving the cube in 3.47 seconds. This has not only shown how the cube has become embedded in society, but has also inspired a new generation of Rubik's Cube enthusiasts and professionals. Since the introduction of the original 3x3 cube, a variety of variations have been created, including cubes of different sizes, such as the 2x2, known as the mini cube, and the 7x7, the V Cube 7. There are also electronic and illuminated versions, as well as digital applications that allow you to solve the cube virtually. However, no matter how commercialized it may be, the Rubik's Cube is not only a toy, but also an educational tool. Solving it requires an understanding of mathematical concepts, such as group theory and combinatorics. It also improves cognitive skills such as memory, problem solving, and spatial awareness. In education, the cube has been used to teach mathematics and to promote critical thinking and perseverance in students. The Rubik's Cube has become a cultural icon, appearing in movies, television series, works of art, and literature. It has been the subject of numerous international competitions and has inspired a large community of enthusiasts dedicated to solving and creating variations of the cube. From its creation to the present day, it has been a masterpiece that is not only commercially successful, but also educationally valuable. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.